Hey loves, you're most welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to do this Chinese bone straight with Kim K closure. Okay, I have 3 bundles and then a closure. The closure is called Kim K and they are all 18 inches including the closure as well. So I'm going to be using all the 3 bundles to do the hair, and I'm using my Sister Co's mannequin. Yeah, the mannequin is called Sister Co's. So when you are placing the Kim K closure on the net, make sure that it has come way forward. You know that you see it has come all the way forward, like half an inch forward, so that it is not directly lying on the net, okay, especially the front. And then I'm adjusting it in such a way that I'm tightening the closure so that there are no bumps anywhere, so before I sew. And over here I'm just using my needle to pin the closure down, and I'm going to be using thread and needles to do the sewing. I don't have a sewing machine. If I have a sewing machine, definitely, you know, I'm going to teach you, but I'm going to be using thread and needle. So over here I'm just trying to use my thread and needle to secure the closure by inserting the needle into the closure and then making a knot. Okay, so like you saw, or like you are seeing, when I pull the thread into the net and the closure, then I make a knot before I move forward. So I'm going to be repeating this all the way through until I am completely done with the sewing. And then when you are sewing, to make sure you are not tightening it too much, and then you're also not loosening it too much. Otherwise, by the time you are done, you're going to see a lot of bumps, and we don't want that to happen. Okay, so continue to do that until you exhaust all the parts where you're supposed to sew. So I'm going to be doing the same thing at the other side by inserting my thread and needle and then making a knot by pulling. And basically that's how to secure the closure. Like I keep saying, you have to be practicing to know how to do some of these things. It will never magically happen. Myself, it didn't occur to me naturally. I learned it. And I had been making mistakes way back, and I have learned, and that's why I am. So in order to secure it fully, you just continue to make repeated knots until you are done. So when you are done, it's going to look something like this, and that is how to sew a closure onto a net. I hope this is detailed enough, but yeah, hopefully you get it. And over here I'm just trying to cut the excess lace off with my scissors. You can also use a very small scissor, but yeah, this is what I prefer because it's sharp. It's sharper than all the scissors I have in the house. Okay, so this is how it should look like by the time you are done. You see there are no bumps. So I'm just cutting off the black net so that the net will reveal the closure net. Okay, so basically that's how all the closure lace. Then at the back here, because I'm going to try to to sew the extensions, I'm going to be using this tape measure and this Sharpie pen to mark where I want the lines to be. And over here I'm just marking them into inches, like 1 inch, 1 inch. You don't necessarily have to place it at the beginning of the tape measure, so far as you are getting your 1 inches. Okay, and when I was done, I realized that the net was quite big for my head. So you see the excess net I'm holding, I'm just going to use the thread and needle to kind of pin them down or sew them down so that there are no spaces left inside my net. Otherwise it's going to be so big and the wig is going to be hanging on my head when I wear it. So I just use the excess and then I sewed it down like you are seeing. So that is how I have learned to sew a bigger net down before even sewing the net, okay, or sewing the wig on, so that it doesn't become excessively big on your head. And over here all I'm doing is to just sew it down. Like if you don't know how to do a normal sewing, you have to also learn that one too. I learned it in school, like vocational studies. So over here I'm just using my Sharpie pen to continue tracing the 1 inch marks that I did to the side, and then I'll turn the mannequin head and then repeat the same thing at the other side. And when it comes to the perfection, like I said, you just have to look at it and then practice. Because me marking the thing, I'm not sure how I can explain to you how I'm marking, but just for you to see with your physical eyes. So I'm just tracing the 1 mark inch I did and then tracing it to the end. Okay, and then when I realized that there were too much spaces at the top, I just try to follow the mark so that it will be in line, and then I join the 1 mark inch with each other like that. Okay, so basically this is how it should look like. And like the whole sewing of wigging is these marks. You see, if you have mastered or if you know how to do the marks, it is so much easier for you to follow along and just sew your wig on the mark. Okay, as whether you're going to do double wefting or single wefting depends on the number of extensions or bundles you have, and then how heavy or light you want the extension, the wig to be. And with the sewing, I first of all insert the needle at the tip of the extension before I insert the needle into the net, and then I pull it through. Then I repeat the same thing, but then at the second part I just make a knot, and then at the third part I just also make a knot as well, so that it is totally secure and the wig will not come out. Okay, you don't necessarily have to do a lot of knots whilst you move along, like once you do the tips. Okay, for me, for all the wigs I have done for myself, I don't like do a knot all the time, like throughout the sewing. I just repeat a lot of knots at the tips, so that they don't remove. And my wigs have held on pretty well and pretty longer, like at most 3 years, and it's not like they come off anyway. So but then maybe for those of you who are learning it by professionally, I guess you are doing it by knots, but me, I don't have time to be doing it knots. I don't have time to be knotting it all the way through. I just knot it in at the tip, just like you are seeing, like I'm doing over here. And I don't want to cut the extensions, like I don't want to cut the bundles into pieces, so I'm just going to turn it over and then sew it along the line. So the one I sewed at the bottom, I used just single wefting, but when I was continuing on the subsequent lines, I'm using double wefting, so that it becomes a little bit heavier at my back. And then when I get to the very top, where like near the closure, then I go back to the single wefting again. So it all depends on the number of bundles I have. And to be honest, I thought these bundles were too light, but when I was done, I could feel the heaviness, especially at the tip. So that's how it all went. And like I said, when you have the lines, it's so easy for you to just move along. It becomes something like a template for you to move along. And over here, because I've gotten to the tip, I did a lot of knots, and then I cut a thread, and then I did another knot, about 5 knots before I cut the needle. So it's very important to really knot it up when you get to the tip, but making sure also that it's not too bulky, so that when you are done, it doesn't become bulky. So this is one full bundle. These are 2 bundles left, which I'm going to continue to use. So I'm left with 1 bundle, and I'm going to be doing double wefting at 1 line and then single wefting with the next 2 lines. So I went ahead to do the double wefting. By now you know how to do it, and then I sewed them single wefted on the other line. So this is my last extension, and starting off, I just inserted it at the tip and then making a lot of knots at the tip, closer to the closure. Yeah, closer to the closure. Yeah, that's a bar, you know. So I just did it like that, and then I continue to sew along by inserting the threaded needle in. And yeah, over here you can see that I'm not making any knots, because like I said, I don't make knots all the way through except for the tips. And then I sewed it along all the way. Because I already have my lines, it's easier for me to just follow through. So that's why I keep repeating that, so that you understand what I'm trying to say. And over here, this is the last part that I'm sewing, trying to get closer to the closure as much as possible. And then I cut it off, I cut the thread off, and I'm pretty done. It's very, very simple. How to sew a wig is very, very simple. Thanks to all the YouTube girlies who have been teaching us how to do wigs. And today I have the chance to also teach others. So when I was done, I used my foundation shade to tint the lace. You can choose to bleach the lace, but I don't know how to bleach the lace yet. I don't know how to do it yet. So I just use my foundation to tint the lace, and it becomes pretty much like my skin. It matches my skin pretty well, so I don't have any troubles. That's why it's so much easier for when you buy a good lace, so that you don't have to struggle with the shade or anything like that. So I use my small scissors over here to just cut the excess lace off very, very carefully, and then also cutting any excess lace so that it becomes very, very seamless. And you don't have to worry if some of the hairs are coming out. It's for the better, okay? It's for the better. And then because we don't want any lumps and we want the hair to be sleek and all of that, I'm using my justlin wax stick to go over the hair, but then making sure that I'm going in parts, especially for my front. And then I apply the wax stick on the front or on the hair in parts, and then I comb it before I apply the hot comb. The hot comb is on maximum heat because the hair is a human hair, and it's able to contain a lot of heat, so no troubles. But then when you're also doing the heating, like when you're using the hot comb, please make sure that you are not burning yourself. So you can see that I lift the hair before I insert the hot comb to do the combing, so that I don't end up burning my forehead. I've burnt my forehead before when I was learning this trick. You can equally put it on a mannequin head, continue to do all your heating and your hot combing before wearing the wig. But over here I just wanted to let you know that I'm a pro, you know, like by now I have tried to master it, okay? So it's quite easier for me to finesse through without necessarily burning myself excessively or dangerously, okay? So if you're afraid, please use a mannequin head and then do all of these before you wear the wig, and then maybe you can do some small touches here and there. But basically, yeah, that is how to do this wig. I'm just going to leave you for you to enjoy what I am doing next, and yeah. So over here, I just thought of adding a small heat to my hair with my straightener so that I straighten the hair. It's already straight, it's already bouncy, it's already very smooth. But adding a little something will not hurt, you know. So I just use my straightener to straighten it a little bit, and then also try to curl the ends. Like not necessarily curl, but you know, like bend it small so that it will look like a little bit curly at the end. Yeah, something like that. So that's what I did, and it wasn't that bad, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all I have for you today. Very, very simple. Just master how to attach the closer. You can watch it over and over again, okay? And then also learn how to do the patterns, and you are good to go. If you went to school, especially if you did mathematics, or if you use Excel or Microsoft Word, it's very easy for you to learn how to use templates. So use this as a template and thank me later. I also took some pictures like you are seeing. Please do subscribe if you love my videos, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Take care. Love you. Do check out my other hair tutorials and other beauty tutorials. I'm going to see you soon. I love you. Have a nice day. Bye.